really going to be remarkably close, that since he was able to stretch his fuel load because of that early yellow, he is very, very close. There's John Paul in the pits. You can see him getting out. That's the number 66 Porsche. But again, to go back to that Toyota, because he was able to go beyond the halfway mark, he will be extremely close. Now it becomes a gamble because we know PJ definitely must stop again.
New tires, it takes a couple of laps to get the heat up in the tires and get them running at their optimum. This is not a quick pit stop.
No, I don't think they really are too worried about having a fast stop. The driver who is just getting into the car has very little experience in a GTP car, and as a result, this is kind of a test and a fun session for him.
It's all business, though. No fun session for P.J. Jones, 24 years old, from Torrance, California, the son of Parnelli Jones, now running on the lead. The only man who's beaten Juan Fangio this year. He did that at Daytona.
He certainly has been challenging Juan all season long, as we saw early in the show, just the pictures of these two cars coming together numerous times.
Let's go back to Brian.
Well, I just talked to Dan Gurney about the fuel situation with Juan Manuel Fangio. He too, Bill, said it's going to be very, very close. He doesn't think they can do it without stopping one more time. However, if there would be another full course yellow like we had early in the race for a lap or two, they can do it. So they're kind of hoping for a full course yellow to leave Juan out.
Well, if this was NASCAR, we could almost be sure that that would happen, but I don't know. It's always such a huge gamble. You naturally want to win, but do you gamble on stopping if you know you're going to lose the lead? It's very hard to stop.
It's a lot better than running on empty, though, and that's the question he faces now.
Yeah, only half of the track is downhill. This is that steep uphill section. And right at the top, all the way back down to first gear, and a quick left. Oh, and here's Price Cobb in the pits.
He hits his marks nicely. That's correct.
Price Cobb brings the spice in. This is their planned stop, doing what they want to do right now. They're having a little bit of a problem with the right rear, but they managed to get it off. One intriguing thing, they've been actually leaving the tires out on the wall. They can't use tire warmers in IMSA racing, but they were trying to let the sun actually warm them up, get them up to the temperature they want them to be a little better. As I was saying earlier, because they use those tires that aren't the ones they want, they're not as soft as they want, it takes these tires a little bit longer to get up to speed once they get onto the track. It takes them about 15 minutes or so before they reach what they consider the optimum temperature. They fueled him, given him his tires, he's back out on the course.
Well, that was a nice stop. Something, too, to make note of. You can see as Price was sitting in the car, he was very calm, and yet look at the difference when he's actually on the track. You're really being beaten around. There's a lot of vibration through these cars, a lot of effort in turning the wheel. He does not have the benefit of power steering. Every bump that this car hits comes back through the steering shaft with tremendous road shock. And just watch his arm as he's going around these corners here. Yet through all this, Price comes into the pits and during the stop looks remarkably calm. He just sits there, holds the wheel so nothing turns and hinders the crew from putting those front tires back on. Making little adjustments and something here as he's going around the track. I don't know what that would be off the left.
He is a racing son of a gun, Price Cobb. You name it, he'll race it. He likes motorcycles a lot also.
I really like this fellow as a race driver. He tries very hard no matter what he is in.
Native of Texas, now lives in Colorado. 39-year-old Price Cobb.
This is one particular car that I always wished would get the benefit of some serious sponsorship. Lots and lots of money, because it has been able to challenge these cars, but only for short periods of time. And it's usually let down by small failures.
P.J. Jones on the lead. He started racing when he was 5 years old, running in go-karts. Now he's running the big stuff and very well.
The problem, even with extraordinary care, this child may not survive. Should doctors continue the treatment? When is enough enough? You decide. America Close Up, NBC Nightly News, Monday.
You know, even though we're on now at 8 o'clock, Mad About You is still going to be the same funny, romantic, sexy comedy that it's always been. Good night, Snooki.
Mad About You starts Thursday.
Last summer, NBC brought you all the exciting action and pageantry of the Barcelona Summer Olympic Games. Next Sunday, NBC returns to Olympic Stadium, Barcelona, but now the action is hard-hitting excitement of NFL preseason football, as Neil O'Donnell of the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Steve Young and the San Francisco 49ers. That NFL matchup next Sunday at 1 Eastern Time here on NBC. Well, right now you're watching live the IMSA Monterey GT as we look at the top 5 in the race. The Toyota teammates have now switched places. Fangio, the pole sitter, lost his lead when he went out to pit. P.J. Jones has taken the top spot, followed by Fangio. Then Derek Bell, Price Cobb, and Parker Johnstone has moved up to 5, even though he's in a light car with half the power of the big guys.
Well, that has been the car that has dominated the past few years of light competition. We spoke about earlier being a great combination of the Spice chassis and the Acura motor, and it has been remarkable. Very fast, and in fact has had a horsepower advantage all through its life. That this is something that has worked for their favor, but they also took a chance because they went at the time with an unproven motor, so they deserve the credit of perfecting it. This is a car that has not had to worry about horsepower at all, the Toyota. Boy, it has been remarkable.
4 cylinders, 1 turbocharger, and nothing out there faster.
No, and a lot of people said that there would be a good sprint motor, that it may last. Oh, and there's Derek Bell. He has spotted the Momo car. That's the Nissan right at the corkscrew. Apparently got it too deep under brake and got it sideways. But it's continuing. It doesn't look like there's any problem with the car at all. Everything appears just fine. In fact, I don't think it's Bell. I think it's Massimo Sigala in the car. To his credit or excuse, this is his first ever time at Laguna Seca. He did not get very much practice time at all, so... One of the last great independents running in the IMSA series is Gianpiero Moretti, who could not even make the trip this weekend. He can't drive his own car. He sent Derek and Massimo to drive for him. There was no, I'm sorry, that is Derek in the car. We might as well blame Derek and say it wasn't Massimo's fault. We're going to get a look at what happened here. Trying to get by John Paul Jr. under braking in that 966 Gunner Porsche. And he just shouldn't have tried it. No, Derek just made a big mistake. Got in way too deep when he did not have a clean shot at passing John Paul. So that was all Derek Bell's error.
Fortunately, he did get sideways in an area where he had enough shoulder room to get restarted and back on the track.
And one thing, Don, look in his mirrors. Look who's coming back to play with him. There's Price Cobb right behind Derek. And I think once again, here's a great view. Now, this is inside Price's car. Look at that. Blowing by him on the uphill straight. Now, he just got back into third place by doing that.
This is a battle for third.
Price is driving very, very inspired in this car. He really likes it. Talking to him last night, he was telling me how much fun he's been having in this car. It's a good car, a very, very good team. Julian Randall's running a fairly small operation with Spice Racing Cars in England.
What's the cost of running a GTP car through the season?
It would vary from car to car, but you could easily say $1 million.
An old adage about speed costs money. How fast do you want to go? Toyota's put in the technology and right now has the lead cars. P.J. Jones driving on the lead. He said earlier, after he lost the pole position, which he had last year here at Laguna Seca, after he lost it yesterday to Juan Fangio, today he wins the pole. Maybe tomorrow I'll win the race. Right now he's in front, but strategy becomes all important as the race wears down. We're in the second half of this timed race, an hour and 40 minutes in duration. P.J. Jones, who pitted early when there was a caution flag out, is going to have to come in again.
Yeah, both P.J. and Juan at this point will be hoping for a caution flag, because should that happen, you'll definitely see them both duck in the pits at the same time. Then you've got a problem with one team. Now, granted, it's a large team and they take up 2 pit stalls, but with the cars going nose to tail, you get blocked.
We'll return to the Monterey GT. We'll be back. A live race off the turn.
had to lift just a tad.
He did. He just almost slipped out. Hard to lift. Yeah. I tell you what's crazy. From the time they dropped the green flag a while ago till you pit, you're on the floor.
You never lift?
Never can. The draft is not to the point now where you get up and roll out of the front. You draft flat on the floor. Heard a lot of drivers talking about it, and I was amazed today how you just very seldom can get it off the ground.
Burn piston in car number 25 put Schrader on pit road.
Well, I
behind the wall.
wondered how many cars would be affected by that long wait. They had the cars all heated up, and then they sat out there and cooled down. I'm sure they did put the oil cooler, the oil heater on the cars, but still wonder how it affects them. And apparently, Schrader's first victim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right, Ned. That's a big change on that engine, so they're cooling down. They like to crank these one time and use them up.
Yep. Well, here comes, could be a change for the lead. That's Kyle Petty. Yeah, he had by about a foot when he came across the start-finish line.
146 now complete. Here's Mike.
Ken, I've talked to the crew chiefs of all the top 6 cars, and all but one said they can go the distance comfortably on this tank of gas. That crew chief said, we can't make it, but we're going to act like we can. Won't tell you who he is.
We heard in the background that somebody's motor was blowing, and that was from a radio.
Yeah, but I saw car 24. Gordon dropped to the inside, so he was right up there. And I think he fell back. There he is on the inside, way in the back of this pack. Just to the... There's another car. There's the 40. Maybe he had to lift for that car. But the 24 lost the draft, too.
Leader left right.
He and I have a good relationship.
We find him in here, too.
Yeah.
The A's and the Angels back-to-back Monday and Tuesday at 7.
This is Don Crickey with Bill Adam, Brian Hammonds, and Rick DeBrule back at the Laguna Seca racetrack live on NBC as the Toyotas of P.J. Jones and Juan Fangio continue to run 1-2 in this IMSA Monterey GT. A correction on that graphic, Price Cobb is running third ahead of Derek Bell.
And continuing to run very hard. Price is somebody that feels he is not going to let off. He wants to try and take a hard shot. As here he is, this is Parker Johnstone now, Camel Light's leader coming into the pits.
Parker Johnstone is indeed in the pit. Now, notice an interesting thing. They have to change drivers in this class. It's one of the rules. This particular car has a very small door, meaning that they have to get this driver change exactly right. Parker Johnstone helps to connect up Dan Marvin. In the meantime, the rest of the crew has gone to work. They have changed the tires, they're putting in the fuel. But this is what can slow it down if you don't do it just right. You got to be very careful to make sure that the changeover goes correctly.
It went very well. Now down to Brian as P.J. Jones pits.
P.J. Jones in the pits. His window has been open for several laps, but they left him out as long as possible. The thinking being they get to put less fuel in the car. The car is lighter in the late stages of the race, therefore the car is faster. Also, the tires will be fresher as the race comes to a conclusion. That's why they left him out as long as possible. They're making sure all the fuel is in, and P.J. is back out. Now to Rick DeBrule.
And Camel Lights has come in. They have made their driver change. Bob Earl has gotten out. Interesting to point out, this is almost a sister car to that other actor that Parker Johnstone had. Same problem they have to contend with. That small door. They get the tires done, send them out in a very efficient stop.
All those stops were really impressive. You could see something very different there with the lights. They had to go in and out through the window. It technically does meet the letter of the rules, and they say, well, yes, that's the door because that's how I enter and exit from the car. But by doing that, they just save a little bit. Let's look at Price Cobb, just ducks down the inside. There's the two sister cars, exactly the same paint. Totally backwards.
Now we go back to the lights leader, Parker Johnstone, and who's dominated this competition. And right, he just actually got out. They changed drivers, and right now Parker, who led off for the number 49 car driving, is with Rick.
Well, Parker, you guys had a very eventful morning. Managed to change the motor between the warm-up and the race. I guess the question is, how well is it running?
Well, I tell you, the Comtech crew is absolutely awesome. They changed an engine hot in an hour and 3 minutes to restart. Things run great, and unlike Elkhart Lake, where Dan and I had to run conservatively because it was important to finish in the Drivers' Championship points. Today we were allowed to race, but the car was so good, that accurate Goodyear Comtech car, that I was able to back off on the start and the restart, short shift it and have a great time, and the car was absolutely fantastic.
What is the track itself like as it's been heating up during the day?
Well, the track is getting worse and worse. It's getting a little bit slicker and a little bit slicker, especially in the low-speed stuff. The nice thing about our chassis setup, which is really a credit to Dan Marvin and Steve Conover and all the guys here, is that it is adapting very well to the changing track conditions. And that allows us to use the car easier. We don't have to brake as deep. We can short shift the engine and still go quick. And that's just a great day at the racetrack.
Race day over for Parker Johnston. He'll be on the sidelines as Dan Marvin is driving the car now, and another car pitting quickly.
That is Derek Bell getting out. You can see him standing on the outside, and that's Massimo Sigala setting in.
Well, indeed, the number 30 car has come in. Now, when they had that spin a little bit earlier, they had a problem with the front nose box. As you can see, they've gone to work on it now. At one point, they took a strap off of their little tent, their awning here, hoping to try and strap it down. They haven't used that, but in the classic rendition of a hammer mechanic, you can see Kevin Durand trying to get the nose to sit just a little bit better. When he made that spin, apparently he just moved it up, changed it. As a result, he has very little downforce on the front end. And as Bill Adams can tell you, on a track like that can be very dangerous. You see, they're working as hard as they can. This is like a triage unit in an emergency room in a hospital. They come in, the doctors, in this case, the mechanics, go to work, try to do whatever they can to get this back together, and they don't have any time. It all has to be done right now, and it has to be done correctly, because if they send this guy back out on the track with a nose that isn't fitting properly, it could fly off and cause some serious damage, both to this car and any other car behind him.
Right, Rick, you gotta hurry. This isn't like a street car. When do I get it back from the shop? He wants it back in 20 seconds.
See those strange big periscopes that are up from the side of the Nissan? Those are long-standing fixtures on these cars. They somehow were able to do it as far as putting air intakes up there without really upsetting the aerodynamics too much. Look like periscopes. The Toyota continues to look so smooth around this track. P.J. Jones.
So while the leaders are running smoothly, everything in sync, E.J. Jones running hard, hoping for an upset of Juan Fangio. We'll come back live to Laguna Seca in a moment.
This is a line. That's the difference on Continental.
Accommodations provided by the San Francisco Hilton and Towers. The next time you travel, come to Hilton. We'll turn your business trip into a real pleasure. Hilton, so nice to come home to.
And we now pick up the leaderboard as we come to you live from Laguna Seca. E.J. Jones running on the lead. Juan Fangio, his teammate from Toyota. And arch rival on the race course, number 2, Price Cobb, remains number 3. Driver fatigue becomes a big factor as the race wears on. Cockpit temperatures are up. Wears the drivers out, and the tired driver is more prone to mistakes, and one judgment error can take any driver out of the race.
It can. We have so often seen it. In fact, just a few laps ago when Derek Bell made that mistake, it was a fairly minor error that he chose to pass at the wrong spot, was not cleanly alongside John Pollard. John had the right to turn into the corner. Now, the impact was very light. It didn't appear to be consequential at all, but when he pulled in the pits, he was in for a long time just because he bent one little piece on the hood. So a slight miscalculation may have cost him a full lap in the race. There is Massimo Sigala now in the Momo car. This is a Nissan once again. John Piero Moretti is not driving this weekend. Continues around the track. John Piero is such a colorful character. He has been a fixture of IMSA for, 10 or 15 years, I'm sure. He used to bring a pot, brew pasta at the track.
Let's go down to Rick, who's with Derek Bell now.
Well, just moments ago, we were talking about the cockpit temperatures and how hot it's been getting warmer and warmer during the course of the day. What is it like out there, Derek Bell?
I don't suffer from the heat at all. No, actually, it's not bad. It did get warmer and warmer, but there's actually a nice cool breeze coming in. It's not bad at all. I mean, it's very pleasant in the car.
Are you running a cool suit?
No. We don't know what they are in our team. Because I don't think we got all the parts.
Let's talk about what happened on the track. I made a little mistake out of it.
Well, no, I don't know if I did. Charles Slater was just cruising around. You know, he's a new boy at it, and I sort of followed him for nearly half a lap, and there wasn't much room to go by. And as soon as he came to the top of the hill, I was alongside him. He used to start decided he wanted to go into the corkscrew as well as me, so rather than run on the curb, I just let him hit the front, which spun me, and then unfortunately I had to run onto the grass to get off, and I damaged the nose a bit.
How much damage to the car?
Well, it made it push a lot, and I was losing about 2 seconds a lap, but it was only for about 6 or 8 laps, so then we changed drivers, so it wasn't too bad.
Derek Bell enjoying both the heat and the drive.
Seems to be.
Well, we talked about computers catching you up on your mistakes in the telemetry systems, but I'm afraid television caught you on that one, Derek. That was not the fault of those drivers. I may have just ended my friendship with Derek by calling him on that one, but...
Well, he might feel good about the temperatures, but a lot of places, Bill, like Miami at the Miami Grand Prix, which was seen earlier here on NBC Sports in February, cockpit temperatures were over 130 degrees, and that's why they've developed the cool suit. Yes, tell us a little about that.
The cool suit is it's an interesting feature. It's like a vest and a small skull cap that you put on. And it's a combination of very tiny capillary tubes that flow cold fluid around your body. Your head gives off almost 70% of the body heat. And what this does is to absorb the heat, try and take it out as quickly as possible, and just keep you fresh and safe in the race. Now, if they fail, then they're even worse, because then you've got this hot climbing against your body all the time. But when they work, they are great.
There is our leader, P.J. Jones, up and down the gearbox, trying to keep the favorite, Juan Fangio, at bay.
And somewhere back over the crest of the hill, we're going to see Juan Fangio right there. There is Juan. So they are closing the gap just a little bit with this number 99 car. And I think this is interesting. It's one of the very few conditions of the year in racing where we have seen Juan in a chase position.
Right now, Fangio's dominance on this circuit challenged as he is trying to catch the leader, P.J. Jones.
After you shave, now
the Monterey Peninsula, which has been extolled as the most dramatic meeting of land and water in the world. A perfect day on the peninsula, and so far a great day for P.J. Jones as he looks to upset his teammate and the favorite, Juan Fangio.
PJ is trying, but slowly and surely Juan is reeling him in. It's almost going to be a matter of time. The real problem, however, comes back to Juan's fuel load. How can he do it? I don't know. Personally, I don't think he can at this point. Because he is pushing so hard to try and catch up to PJ, he will be using more fuel. And it was already marginal as to could he make it or not without stopping one more time. At this pace, I don't know. I don't think so.
The one thing that could work to his benefit, but it could be a long shot with the field cleared out some, is the possibility of a yellow caution where he could come in. Here's Brian.
Now, if we do go green for the rest of the race, Juan Fangio does have to make a splash and go stop. Then this little gizmo comes into play. This is a fuel restrictor that IMSA has mandated that the Toyota team uses that helps slow the fuel flow. Now, in a splash and go penalty, this might take an extra second or two in the pits to give that little splash to Juan Fangio. And as everybody knows, every second counts the last few laps of this race.
Well, that sure answers that question in a hurry. Juan literally has to pray for a yellow flag at this point.
We'll check the interval from the leader. And here is the car in pursuit. Juan Fangio.
Juan is very deceptive. He is such a smooth driver that he does not give the impression of speed, but it's like so many things. When we watch downhill skiers in the Olympics, the best ones just flow from gate to gate. And you can see Juan is doing everything very smoothly. Right to the edge of the track. He's using every square inch of track on his way to try and catch PJ.
At that last interval, the difference between the leaders was about 4 seconds. These GTP cars can accelerate from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 4 seconds flat.
Now, the other thing that PJ has to be thinking about at this point is, as he knows the race is running out, his luck this season has been just disastrous. If something could go wrong, it was always bad. It never went his way. So he has to be praying now that he's finally going to get his good luck break of the year.
Back to Rick for this unusual pit stop.
Well, this is very unusual. This is not on pit road. This is back in the paddock area. Once again, this is one of those teams. The car came in. It's a new car. This is a very short team. They don't have a lot of people. They're not staffed. They don't have the equipment they're supposed to. As a result, they're using an illegal fueling rig. It can't be used on pit road. You see that bottle is fueling the car? Because of that, they're having to do it back here in the paddock. They've actually roped off an area. They're letting the crew go to work. Needless to say, Brian was just talking about those fuel fillers and how it's slowing things down. Well, this is even slower. This is going to be a very, very slow pit stop. The car wasn't in contention, but definitely got everybody's attention here in the back as they cleared everybody away to bring this Allard in.
I think some of the folks thought he was going to drive it home.
It looks like something that my daughter has from Hot Wheels.
Servicing the car, some mechanics in the driving school here at Laguna Seca. So whatever's fair, you go with what you got.
This is a very, very high-tech car. It is not painted black. Most of what you're looking at is all carbon fiber. The reports were that this car originally cost something around $2.5 million to produce. A lot of engineering. It's extremely high-tech, but they have a lot of work to do on it because they've had virtually no development at all. And, of course, to fit the rules next year, they would again have to do substantial changes, not the least of which would be cutting the roof off.
That's the one a lot of the fans thought Batman might be in.
But, you know, this car was supposed to be the future of IMSA racing, and in a way it still is. A lot of the body styles we've seen for the World Sports Cars have that same swoopy design, so that's probably what you're going to see an awful lot of next year without the top.
Well, the fuel stop made. Everything in good order. He's back and running. The Batmobile. But running much better is the leader, P.J. Jones, in the number 98 car. So now as the race starts to draw to a conclusion, the question is, can P.J. Jones hold off the great Juan Fangio?
So, how do you spend your weekend?
You got the guys up front playing defense. The guys in the rear, they're on offense. They're trying to get up there, but these two cars now, they're closing it back in there, man, just like you said.
Those cars work well together.
90 car in fifth, the 18 car of Jarrett in sixth. Trying to close down on these leaders. Kyle Petty, Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, and Bobby Labonte driving the Winston Cup race of his life. David Hawkins.
Okay. I'm with Doug Williams, Bobby Hilling's crew chief. He's running real strong right in the last part of this race.
David, we feel right happy right now. The Pilot Myers Ford Thunderbirds hauling the furniture right now. We just hope we can stay in line and keep our position. We'll have a good finish.
Where do you want him to be on those last 2 or 3 laps?
Right where we're at, we're pretty well pleased. You know, we're going to let the front jockey around a little bit and we'll see what happens.
First tickly itch of athlete's foot, Desonex. Do not stall. Desonex intercepts athlete's foot before it turns ugly, killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. There's a can at the store with your salvation in it. Come get it, or else don't blame Desonex. And for jock itch, Crew-X is the #1 cure. Crew-X kills jock itch fungus.
Don Cricky with Bill Adam back at the IMSA Monterey GT. At this point, Juan Fangio has to be wondering if he's running out of track and running out of time, as this time races now to within almost 12.5 minutes of remaining elapsed time to be run. It started out as a 1 hour and 40-minute race. P.J. Jones, number 98, running on the lead. He took the lead away from Fangio, and Fangio pitted earlier. And now Jones is continuing to lead the race. That very opportune pit stop when the caution flag was out early.
And something very impressive right here. I think PJ has responded to the challenge that Juan is putting down, and that he has actually increased his pace and has pulled out even more of a lead over Fangio. So he wants to win at his home track.
Fangio, who was in pursuit, was on the pole at the start of the day, going for a 7th straight win on the IMSA Grand Prix circuit. A win today would assure him of no worse than a driving title tie this year.
There is Fangio. He's coming into the pits for his fuel stop.
He had to come in, did Fangio. Back to Brian.
This is a splash for Juan Fangio. They were planning to make it with 5 minutes to go in the race. Thought it would be better to make it early. It was quick. He is out and back in the fight.
Well, you can see the importance of that stop, too, that Fangio left 2 huge streaks of rubber off those Goodyears. He accelerated out of the pits. Did not want to take a chance on stalling the car. Got it well revved up, dumped the clutch, and just burned his way out of there.
This is where the greatness of Fangio, though, is most evident. The pressure's on. Time is running out. His lead has been taken away by his teammate. Now he must catch him, watch him go to work the rest of the way.
Fangio probably will be about a half a lap behind PJ at this point. I think PJ's on the far side of the course. They are not anywhere close to seeing each other. So what Fangio will do is just to settle down to drive as hard a pace as he can, hoping that maybe PJ might make a slight error or a yellow flag.
Bill, how much fuel can they get in that Breeze's pit stop?
They only really need a couple of gallons. It's just a safety margin, that's all.
Let's go back to Brian Hammond.
Well, the reason they brought Fangio in earlier than expected was because he was caught in traffic out on the racetrack. And secondly, if they brought him in with 5 minutes to go in the race, he just wouldn't have enough time to make that difference up. Now they feel he has a fair shot at chasing down his teammate, P.J. Jones.
Fangio, number 99, driving hard, burning a lot of fuel.
It's really come to tremendous importance, the increases in the electronics in these cars over the past few years, to not only get as much horsepower as possible, but also to get better fuel mileage. They want to make the absolute best use of the gas that they can. And we've seen a lot of it in the Grand Prix cars, the Formula 1 technology. Your fuel management systems, remarkably sophisticated, and these cars are the equal to them.
It is not only tough to move up in the field, the course is narrow, featuring 11 turns. Passing other cars very difficult if you do set up the pass.
Now here's PJ. This is our leader. He is coming to the front side of the course. This is bringing him to the very last corner, all the way back on the first gear, and accelerating hard out of this corner. Up through the gears, all the way back up to the 5th gear on the front straight. Over the crest of the hill there, and then downhill very slightly into this long turn 2. You can see there the lead, 26.7 seconds. Really a comfortable margin at this point. I would not be surprised to see his team give him a little bit of a breather and tell him to back off somewhat. Allow the lead to go down. Price Cobb continuing to run very, very well in that Spice Chevrolet. Back on board now, Price, one more time.
He's running 3rd overall in the race.
Giving that Pactel Spice a real good race. This is nice to see this happen. This car has sounded and looked good from start to finish. They've done a great job on preparing it.
On board, you get a very good perception of the speed these cars attain. On extended straight, these GTP cars can hit 200 miles an hour plus. And with that down-forcing, they really hold the line through this 11-course turn. 11-turn course. As we look now at the leader, P.J. Jones. And Fangio has been easing up a little bit on Jones. P.J. Jones looking for his second driving title of the year. He did win at Daytona.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Bonfire! You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Much love drives a man insane. You broke my wheel, what a thrill. Living this rage, great ball of fire.
Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug.
Everybody hates to eat and run. We'd rather take it slow. But the way this life is going, gotta grab your food and go. And when all that running round catches up with you at last, get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
for acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster or more effective than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
He doesn't like power breakfast. He'll take a pass on poetry. Deep down, he's a grown-up Boy Scout. Way grown. He likes feeling clean and cool and very male. And he knows how to get there. Where have you guys been? Groot. Men are back.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any hotter, NFL football is back. Live next Sunday, return to Barcelona when the Pittsburgh Steelers take on Steve Young and the San Francisco 49ers. Then, following the game, 10 of the NFL's elite quarterbacks battle to be top gun. The Foot Action NFL Quarterback Challenge. All next Sunday on NBC.
Continental. One airline can make a difference. Business first. The comfort and service of international first class at a business class fare. That's the difference on Continental.
And the difference here at the IMSA Monterey GT, P.J. Jones right now with the lead. Drivers have to fight these cars. They take a pounding from the road shock. Very unforgiving, very tight steering, and 11 tough turns.
We can see the front of that car, too, is just spattered by oil and rubber bits that have been thrown up by the other cars. A problem also that starts to develop is as they drive into the sun, with the windshield being raked back on such serious angles, the difficulty in seeing gets exaggerated as the race goes on. It really does become quite hard. 5 minutes remaining there. It shows the importance, too, of the fellows in the pit crews that have to clean the windshield during the stop. Parker Johnstone, he is continuing to be our lights leader.
Dan Marvin at the wheel. Yes, Parker led off. Of course, in the lights division, they go with 2 drivers. They alternate.
And there's certainly no loss of talent in this combination. Dan Marvin may be even faster than Parker Johnstone. Very gifted driver.
The second place car in the lights division is the number 9 car. Bob Shader driving. We're on board looking at the back. Mr. Shader.
Now we're going to get a view of the corkscrew looking out the back. Here we're going to turn. Let's watch right here. Whoa! There we go. That's a 2-story drop right there as we continue going steeply downhill here. We're continuing down, down. We're going to have a fast turn right here, and then very heavy braking before we start on the start-finish straight. This is a view that drivers never want to get.
Right now, Bob Shader, and we're looking at the back of his car with the onboard camera, is 5th place overall in the competition. He is 2nd in his class, the lights class, behind the Parker Johnstone Dan Marvin team. Now we go to the GTP leader, P.J. Jones, 24 years old and already one of the superior people in this sport. As his teammate Juan Fangio was looking for a 7th consecutive victory on the IMSA GTP circuit today. Jones has held the lead since Juan Fangio pitted the first time.
I think this has been such a wonderful opportunity for Toyota. They committed the IMSA series up against the might of Jaguar and Nissan and Chevrolet. They have the smallest engine and yet chose to do their advertising in front of the world. This is a spectacularly competitive series. With this small engine, they are out here proving their product. They want to say, hey, we have a superior car. And I think that's what it's all about. This is the ultimate form of advertising where you risk everything right out in front. It's why you drive a Toyota or whether you have Momo wheels on your car or a creepy crawly in your swimming pool. It's all the advertising.
Juan Fangio almost conceding it now as he's falling back. It's interesting you talk about the race within the race, the lights division. There's also the race before the race when these drivers compete for the pole position. And when Juan Fangio won the pole here at Laguna Seca yesterday, he broke a 4-race streak of his partner or driving teammate, P.J. Jones, who had the last 4 poles. That's why Jones was talking about today. I'll let him have the pole. Tomorrow I'll get the race.
Yeah, it's my turn tomorrow. And it appears that it is going to be his turn. Very talented driver.
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes and elapsed time left to run here at Laguna Seca. An undulating, hilly 2.2-mile course in the rolling hills of Northern California, nearby to places like Big Sur and Pebble Beach on the Monterey Peninsula.
It is one of the most beautiful areas in the United States. It is gorgeous out here.
Racetrack is beautiful. Virtually every vantage point in the hills is a good one. You can see almost the entire course from anywhere in the hills.
Something to give credit to as well, we should point out the flaggers, the marshals around the track. They are so important in what they do. These are all volunteers that come and donate their time and effort to stand out and enjoy these cars. It is just spectacular. They help so much. What they are doing right now is warning cars ahead of PJ that he is coming through. They will hang out that blue flag, just warning the other drivers to please pay attention to your mirrors.
Very soon, P.J. Jones is going to see a checkered flag. 1 minute to run in this elapsed time race. P.J. Jones, who won once earlier this year. That was in early February at Daytona when he beat Fangio. Since then, Fangio has dominated this circuit. And now P.J. Jones, driving smoothly, actually extending his lead as the race wears on, is about to take a checkered flag very shortly.
And we can see how cautious P.J. is being. He has followed the Parker Johnstone, Dan Marvin Acura for almost half a lap now, not even risking a pass. So he is being very careful. He wants to win.
Now he kicks it in and blows by the Johnstone car driven by Dan Marvin. And this is the final lap now for P.J. Jones.
He'll be on the brakes 50, 100 feet before he has at any other time today. You're going to be very careful. Go through the corners, change each gear very cautiously, not risk the car at all. It's actually a difficult point because if you have a lead like this, the natural tendency is you want to relax and enjoy your final lap. And that can be crucial because it's so easy to make a mistake if you get away from the pattern and the rhythm that you were in.
Talked about all the racing difficulty he's had, Bill. Bad luck, blowing engines. Today it has been, like the weather, a perfect day for P.J. Jones as he is about to take his second checkered flag of the season. The only man to have defeated Juan Fangio in 1993, and he'll have done it twice. And he still stays in the running for the overall GTP points title.
It will come down to one of the two Toyota teammates will be champion this year.
There is the flag and a victory for Team Toyota. And this week, it's P.J. Jones the winner. We'll be coming back to Laguna Seca in a moment as P.J. Jones takes the checkered flag with his teammate Juan Fangio finishing second.
This is a line. To some, it is seen as a barrier. To others, it's a point where traditions of the past are abandoned in favor of visions of the future. Introducing the revolutionary new Toyota Supra. It's taken everything sports cars were before and crossed the line.
Why get an inferior foam shave when you could have the best? Why choose ordinary lubrication when you could have the rich?
A tribute to Davey Allison, a man who drove his first Winston Cup race here, won his first Winston Cup race here at Talladega, Alabama. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Dale Earnhardt rolled in here and he says, that's all it takes, just a couple of inches. How'd you win it?
By a couple of inches. It really is. You know, it was a tough day. Man, it's close racing all day long. We're lucky my buddy Neil didn't get hurt. I was thankful for that. He was having a good time, though, and I don't think I scared him any. I think he's ready to go again. But, you know, Jim Goodwin Chevrolet ran good, and all the guys did a good job. It was just...
Yeah, but how'd you beat Ernie?
I don't know. They was all racing each other. Kyle looked like he got a little loose, and I decided, well, I better go on in front of him, and I got in front of him, and then Ernie and Dale. And
fifth win at Talladega. Baseball action this afternoon. No race is hotter than the American League East. 4 of the 7 teams started the day within a half game of each other. At Fenway, Mo Vaughn with this 5th inning grand slam off Rick Honeycutt. 5 RBIs on the day for Vaughn, tying a career best. The Red Sox have won 10 straight and 11 of 12 since the All-Star break. And it was Cap Day at Yankee Stadium, where the Yanks staked the Angels to an early 8-0 lead. But tied at 8 in the 9th, Pat Kelly with the base hit to left off Steve Fry, scoring Hensley Mullins with a game-winning run. Yanks remain tied for first with the Red Sox atop the AL East. Elsewhere, it was the Twins over the Orioles by 2 games. Well, that is all from the Prudential Update. Let's send it back to Don Criqui at the Toyota GT of Monterey.
Thank you, Gail. And here are the final standings of today's IMSA Monterey GT. P.J. Jones is the victor, followed by the favorite Juan Fangio, who started on the pole, then Price Cobb. Now let's meet the winner.
Second win this year for P.J. Jones, career win number 4. For a guy that's been suffering from strep throat all week, he sure didn't show any ill effects.
Well, when you drive a Toyota that handles like this and prepared like this, and the crew, Howard Manise and the guys, I mean, they just made the decision that won the race when they brought me into that yellow. Got some tires and went out, and the car was great after that. And like I said, hats off to them, to Toyota. This wraps up the Manufacturers Championship for Toyota, and it's a nice one to win, to get the monkey off our back.
You're within 15 points of your teammate now for the championship with 2 races left. Can you catch him?
Well, you know, he's going to have to have a little bit of bad luck for me to catch him, and we're going to have some good luck. So we have 2 races left. You never know what can happen.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now let's go to Victor Brule with the lights winner.
Dan Marvin just got out of the car. Now I have to ask you, an hour before the race, your guys were in there putting a new engine. You had to have some doubts.
I had maybe 1 or 2, but I'll tell you, if there's anything that goes to show that racing is a team sport, it's our success here today. The CompTech Acura guys were absolutely 105%. New engine change record, 1 hour and 3 minutes, and if anybody could do it, they could do it.
That is pretty remarkable. An engine change in 1 hour and 3 minutes, a hot engine. And now, as we look at the IMSA GTP point standing, as this is how they stand after today's competition, Juan Fangio continues to lead, but P.J. Jones is very much in the hunt now as they get set to head to Portland.
It really is going to be a spectacular finish to this season, because not only does it take a little bit of bad luck on Juan's part, but I think it takes some very spirited driving on Jones' part. So we're all going to benefit from that.
And here now is a full field rundown of how they finished Monterey.
And I think a wonderful job today. We just have to give a world of credit to P.J. Jones. He got a ton of pressure put on him. We've all talked about how Juan Fangio has been virtually invincible, and yet P.J. came through.